Hello YouTube, this is Bash bringing you EBT Season 7 draft analysis of the Sun Division with the New York MEWS. So a little thing about this Remnants was actually just a filler season. We called it EBT Season 6 basically in a way. It's just like a filler season, and if the reason that like League stopped recording was because the last game we had, there was a forfeit, so there was no match. And the recap, I just couldn't get it up. Recap of that, I didn't like the mons. I didn't really enjoy these mons I was using. So hopefully this season, we actually have some mons that I really enjoyed using. In fact, a bunch of these mons I've never used before. So that should be really interesting. It either gonna go really good or really bad this season. So we'll see. So we were put in Sun Division. Yeah, I kind of we got put in because, well, it's understandable. I didn't perform that well during Remnants, so I understand the position, and hopefully we could be promoted for next season. Our main goal though of the season is to make playoffs. That's always the first goal of any league, is to make playoffs. So, and then see where we could go from there. So let's get into this draft analysis. We were put in the 7th pick, so right in the middle of right near the middle of the draft with 12 teams. Each division had, I believe, Premier had 14 players, and then Moon and Sun had 12 players also. So, yeah. So I was looking at some mons. I really thought Landorus Incarnate was gonna fall to me, and that goes first pick. Yep. Yeah, well, it makes sense though. It has sheer force, but I honestly thought that it would go unnoticed, sort of, that it would make it down to me somewhat. And so did some of the other people I was drafting, making a draft plan it with. Shout out to Crypto and Anderson. They were helping me out with the draft plan for this league. I was hoping Coco would make it. Because I didn't think Coco was going to be taken, based off of the way the draft was going, but then Squimpy, I think, took it. So, now we'll go down there. And it comes up to the 6th pick, and and there was one mon I really wanted. I would have taken this first pick probably if it was still around. If I had first pick, and it's Celesteela. And right before my pick, again, 2 seasons in a row, it is taken. That's fine with that. Celesteela, I have it in the crash right now, so I'm not really disappointed that much. I was surprised it even made it that far. So, so this left me with a couple choices of where to go from there. I was thinking about Jirachi. And I was thinking about Landorus Terrian at the spot, and Mew. Those are the 3 mons I was thinking about at pick 7 of what to do from there. So what really pushed me over the edge is the fact that I've never used Landorus Terrian and its ability. I grabbed Landorus Terrian and it becomes my Z Crystal, who is nicknamed after Crypto. I decided to grab Landorus Terrian just because I really think that I've always wanted to use this thing. And its ability to set up, and its versatility in the league, and its ability to wall break as well, as Jirachi does not have the power to wall break. I feel like, with only having base 100 stats and not the real moveset, it's really there to flinch things down, set up rocks, you turn out, and set up. That's really what it's there. While Lando could defog, gets rocks, gets momentum, but can break as well as set up real quickly with rock polish or stuff like that. It even gets Calm Mind, so we'll see. Because base 105 special attack, still pretty good, and has the intimidating ability, which is even amazing, which is really amazing as well. So that's my first pick, and I knew right away when I picked this mon that I knew what core I wanted to build with this, and that leads me to my next pick, which is my mega pick. I really was hoping this would stay around for me, and it did, and it was Charizard X, which I've also never used before. So you can see this ongoing trend throughout this draft of mons I've never used before. But Charizard X is actually a monster if you look at those stats. Base 130 attack, base 111 defense, base 130 speed F, special attack event, base 85 speed F, and base 100 speed. And with Tough Claws, its physical moves just wall break. So I have two amazing wall breakers already. Both get defog, which I'm not gonna probably use Charizard X as a defogger. We'll see. Um, both both are just huge wall breakers, or they could be walls. So they're good versatility. This thing gets Charizard X gets reliable recovery, gets Flare Blitz, Dragon Dance, stuff like that. It gets Roost, which is really good. So that's Charizard X. And coming back around, I knew I wanted this other mon to complete out this core, and it's a very special. It gives me another good speed tier, as now I have Landorus at 91, Charizard X at 100, and next I have Starmie at 115, named after Coach Oak, which and Charizard X was named after Honor from the UPC and stuff. Pretty good stats, I think. The HP is a little lacking, but that's fine. And its abilities in Natural Cure and Analytic are really good, especially with Analytic, because a lot of this thing has so many coverage moves that a lot of my opponents are going to be switching out on this thing, allow me to get an Analytic boost. So that's really good. It gives me a good speed tier in 115. It gives me another way of hazard removal, as now every single mon I've drafted has hazard removal. This gives me like insane versatility. And I almost made this Mazemon. I decided against it after talking to like 6 other people, because I couldn't get it. Like, I couldn't decide between these 3 mons, but more 2. It came down to, we kind of eliminated one of the. You'll see later as I talk about it. I couldn't really decide whether to get this become my Zemon, or this other mon really, and I went to other mon because of its ability. You'll see in it later in the draft, but this thing was also really good. I thought it could have been a really good CMAT because of its speed stat, first of all, allowed me to get those quick popped off C moves, plus its coverage moves, and it has a lot of good status moves as well. So I was thinking about that as well, but we decided against it. And Starmie is here, just holding items, which is just as good as well. And it has natural cure, so if I get those T spikes, if they get the T spikes up, I could get in with Starmie, rapid spin, and then switch on out and get rid of the poison, which is really cool, I think. So that's really cool. Next, I believe I grab a tier 2 again. So this thing also gets recovery and all, but but I really wanted something to get a wish passer this league. I really felt that would really help Landorus Terrian in its versatility and its defensive role in the match, as it gives it more opportunities to switch into attacks, because Landorus Terrian doesn't get reliable recovery. So in that case, I decided to draft Sylveon, named after Sketch AV. This thing I've used a couple times. This is the first mon of the draft that I've actually used before. One in the UBC at the end of the season, at the end of the league season, late season of that for season 2, and I've also used this in a tournament for the GBA. So this thing is really good with wish passing. It gets heal belt. It gives me a way to cure off those. It gives me a cleric, which is really good with like Lando, with I don't want to get willowed and toxic with all that stuff. Gives me a wish passer, great for Lando, Starmie, Charizard X. Just nice to get those switch in. Baton Pass is nice. Hyper Voice, Pixelate Hyper Voice is just amazing, guys. I mean, if you don't have a soundproof mon, it's so nice to have Sylveon. And it gets a couple good ways to set up, as well as a way to it can pass Baton Pass, but in this league we need to remember that you can only pass one stat or one sub. You know what I mean? Like, you can't pass a Calm Mind, because that's 2 different stats. So that's Sylveon. I feel like it's going to be really good with Lando, especially with the special defensive versus physical split, because the Intimidate is going to help out Sylveon a lot because of its defenses aren't the best, but its HP stat is pretty good, and its special defense is just a monster. So that, I feel like that's really good for my team. Um, and I believe next I grab my second Z user, as we have three Z users this league. Um, Lando and this one that's coming up were definite Z users for my team. No doubt in my mind, I was confident that I was grabbing these two as Z users. And this is Stakataka. And if you all guys don't all know, Stakataka is a very unique mon. It's named after Tristan. So Rock Steel typing. You may think that's a terrible typing. Yeah, it honestly is. 2-4 times weakness, and you can see this mon is a more defensive mon with 211 base defense and 101 SPDF. But this mon could also be very good offensively, as it has base 13 speed, allowing Gyro Ball, whatever you want to call it, to hit so stupidly hard. And it has a base 131 attack, so that's still really good. And this thing gives me a Trick Room option. As a lot of my team right now are more on the faster side, sort of, I would say. Lando, Starmie, Charizard X, a little more faster. Sylveon's like in the mid, but like Stakataka allows me to scares opponents from bringing Trick Room against me, which is really good. Gives me a rocker, so I don't have to run rocks on land all the time, which is really nice. And its HP and special attack stat aren't that good, but because of its HP stat being so low and its defenses being so high, it's so easy to get those wish passes off from Sylveon into Stakataka, as the two things that weaken are that was one thing, like one typing fighting, Sylveon eats, so it really helps out with Stakataka and Sylveon. And this next mon, which also does really well with Sylveon, with wish passing and all that. And honestly, it has really good synergy defensively with Stakataka, especially covering for both of Stakataka's main weaknesses. And it gives me another rocker as well, and that is Uxie, named after J, psychic type, base 130 defense and SPDF, which is really good, and base HP of 75 is pretty good too as well. Its speed stat, I honestly did not think this thing was that fast. 95 speed. Oh my god. I thought Mesprit is more of like the average between Uxie and Azelf, but apparently not, because Uxie is like so much faster than Mesprit. So that's really good. This thing gives me rocks. Another way to another cleric gives me momentum as well. As you see, I have Lando already and Sylveon and Uxie now with momentum, which is really good. This thing gets a lot of coverage moves as well, and it gets memento. Doesn't get healing wish, which I was kind of a little upset about, but that's fine. Memento is still pretty good. Yeah, and this thing gets good setup options, and it could be it's a very good wall. It could take hits for it could take a lot of hits if it needs to, so that's a good thing. So I believe actually, yeah, so right at this pick, after I picked Stakataka, sniped again with this right before this pick. So this is why I switched on my draft. I didn't actually have Uxie originally on my draft plan, but I'm kind of happy it kind of got Uxie. I was going to get Jolteon for this team. Gives me really good speed tier. Gives me a fast electric type that could threaten out those water types that could be annoying for Stakataka, I guess. So I thought that was really good. And yeah, Capital sniped again. It's fine though, but like, because I kind of like the team better that I have now, but it kind of threw me for a little loop, as I had to rebuild my draft plan, and we did go with Uxie, but I did have to make up those typings and switch things around. So I believe I went with Rotom, named after Kurt. Um, its stats are pretty good except for its HP and I guess its attack as well. But it gives me a good way. It gives me another speed tier 86, which isn't that far off, which is pretty good, I think. 91 to 86. It's like it's kind of close, but it's not terrible for speed tiers. Ability levitate, which is nice. So now I have like okay, so I have Lando with a flying type, Uxie with levitate, and Rotom with levitate. So I have 3 immunities to ground types that could bother Charizard X and Stakataka, which is really good. This thing, usually ground types want to switch onto Volt Switchers, but they do not want to switch into this Volt Switcher because this thing hits hard with Leaf Storm, which is amazing because now I got this mon just pressures water types like crazy. Base 105 special attack, not exactly the Jolteon special attack I wanted, but we'll have to do because it now has the good defenses. It gets the different. It gets more moves and more coverage moves as well as more status moves with Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split, Trick, stuff like that. This thing is a monster, and hopefully I could use this Mon well this season, as I have actually used Rotom for like 2 games before the league died, as well as Uxie. I used that like 1 or 2 games before the league died. But Stock Attack I never used. So Rotom is going to be really good. And we come down to like about halfway through this. So I'm going to stop right here and go for the question of the day, which is what is your go-to mon in draft league format? If you got like the first pick, what would you pick? For me, it would either be Celesteela or Tapu Koko. Celesteela because of it's so good versatility wise, and its ability to just outbulk things. If you get a good Wish Passer, that thing just destroys, and opponents don't have to only plan for it defensively but also offensively, which is really scary. So I think that's probably the best mon in draft league format, as well as Tapu Koko with its ability to set up electric terrain. Has ways to get like Halucha and like Hitmonlee and stuff like that, and Alolan Raichu to get just destroy mons. It gets U-turn, so it doesn't and Volt Switch, which is really good for Volt switching out and U-turning out, which Rotom does not have. But and Koko has really good attack stats, and its special attack stat is not exactly what you really want, but it has a really good typing, and has the ability to set up with Calm Mind, and it gets Roost as well, so it's pretty good mon. It gets Defog as well, so that thing is also, I feel like, really good. So those are the two mons that I think are the best mons. I would definitely take first pick if I really got a chance to. Leave a comment in the below what you think is the best mon you would grab first and why. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see what you guys think. So back onto Rotom. This thing also gets defog, as I mentioned before, so now I have a bunch of hazard movers, which is really good because I feel like we need it. And hopefully Rotom can just mow away its competition. Yeah. Oh my god. So I believe next I decided to grab a kind of repetitive typing a little bit. But I felt like it really worked all well with Stakataka, and it gives me another defogger as well as a really good speed tier. The speed tier I was missing when Jolteon was taken, and that is Crobat, who's named after Anderson. Inner Focus, Infiltration, 2 really good abilities. I'll have to decide which one I'm running each week, but Crobat is such a good mon, and its speed stat, its versatility, ways to set up especially, which is really good, and its ability to just Brave Bird spam, which is really good since my original flying type does not have Brave Bird spam, as its only flying type move is Fly. So now this thing gives me more versatility in the flying type to take advantage of that. Hit those grass types that could bother some of my mons. It gets Taunt, which is really good. Defog. Fast Defogger is really good. So now I have Lando with Defog, Starmie with Rapid Spin, Rotom with Defog, Charizard X with Defog, and Crobat with Defog. So that's like really good hazard removals. And I believe I do grab another one. Yeah, I do grab another hazard removal. So Anderson here, I hope, is going to put in the work this season. It gets momentum, which is really good because now I have a really good momentum-based team as Lando, Uxie, Rotom, Sylveon, and Crobat all have momentum options, which is really, I think, is really good for my team. And a fast Haunter is always good. So that's really good, and always not missing Toxic because who wants to miss Toxics in this league? That's just horrible. If you like 90 like because poison types always hit their Toxics, so that's really good. I do not want to miss my Toxics this season, so we'll see about that. And I believe so. The next Mon is a repetitive typing of this one, but it's a grounded poison type, which I desperately need because I do not want to deal with T-Spikes this season. As Starmie does give me rapid spin and stuff like that, but I wanted a way to absorb T-Spikes as well. And this mon is Venomoth, who is actually my Z Crystal user, named after Jimmy, who is the god of using Venomoth. So Venomoth is really good, and with its tinted lens, it hits so hard. And it has really good setup options with Quiver Dance, and it gets Sleep Powder as well, which is really good, and T-Spikes and U-Turn, and my final Hazard Mover Mon, and as it gets Defog. This thing is really good. This is the other mon I was considering. This is the mon I was competing with Starmie. But I decided to go with this mon as it helps me break over those extra walls with those Z crystals. It can hit so hard with tinted lens, so I just couldn't pass it up, and that's why I drafted this mon. Great wall breaker, or not wall breaker, great setup. As we did have some good setup mons, but I wanted another way to set up, and it doesn't hurt to get another mon to set up. And it doesn't hurt to get another way to absorb T spikes for sure. Its defense stat is kind of lacking, but I feel like its Quiver Dance setup is what's gonna drive this thing over other mons. So hopefully Venomoth can pull up and pull some sweeps off this season. I'll I'll ask Jimmy some praise for the Venomoth, as this is really his kind of like mon. So next I am going to go over my fighting type / dark type, and that is Pangoro, named after Lo Mein. Three great abilities: Iron Fist, Mode Breaker, and Scrappy. Although Scrappy I might not be using as much, as I do have a dark typing, so ghost types do not really want to switch into this thing. Also, this is my third mon I was considering for Z Crystals, as it does get Z Me first and Z Parting Shot, which I thought would have been really cool, but I don't think I would use it enough, to be honest. This thing has really good Parting Shot. I was going to grab a Roman Persian, but Will sniped that from me. Along with the rest of the draft. So Will sniped. Everybody wanted a Roman Persian, so I mean, he got everybody. So Pangoro, really good typing. Other than the fairy typing, very good offensively though. You just got to watch out for the fairies, but it does get Bullet Punch, which is really good to deal with those, and has ways to deal with fairy types, so it's not the worst thing. Base 124 attack, really good, and Mold Breaker is really good for breaking those mons like Necrozma and like Mega Aggron, stuff like those. And its defense stats aren't that good, but it's enough with its HP to handle some things. And it can be good with get those wish passes into Pangoro. As well as its speed stat isn't that great, but that means I could get those slow parting shots off, which could be nice as well if I run this more defensively. So Iron Fist to get those extra damage off, and Mold Breaker to get through those. Can help me hit like through Mimikyu, which maybe we'll see. I don't know. Probably not, because Mimikyu would absolutely destroy this thing's life, but we'll see. And so coming down to my last pick, this is the only pick I was really questionable about at the end. I filled all the roles I kind of needed. And the last mon, I kind of wanted a normal type in tier 5. I was considering Slacking, because that thing is a monster. We have it in the IPA, and I put it in the week work last week. But I already had really good wall breakers, so I wasn't really looking, I kind of moved away from that, and I already have a mon at that speed tier in Charizard X. I was looking at Zangoose, which could have been really cool with toxic ability with the toxic with what is it called, toxic something with toxic, I forgot, but it hits so hard with that. um it's a great way to sweep too. But I didn't think I really needed it. I was considering Kangaskhan as well. But I had like a mono around that speed tier, and I didn't really think I needed a Kangaskhan on my team. And the mon I went, and I was also considering Kecleon as well, for ability to get rocks up in that Proteans change, which was really cool, and its special defense stat is really good as well. But and it's reliable recovery. But I decided to go with Tauros. Oops, I forgot to put that up in tier 5. Sorry about that. But Anger Point, Intimidate, Sheer Force, Splurge, named after Splurge, base 100 attack, base 110 speed. Really good. Getting the Intimidate core with Landorus Tarian, and that Sheer Force hits really hard as well. It could hit really hard. I think this is the mon. If I drop a mon early on, it's probably gonna be this mon, to be honest. But I don't know. We'll see. Um, Taurus is really good. Hits really hard. Gets in its base 40 special attack is pretty bad, but with sheer force, it can help out. It can hit some specially offensive moves. So we'll see. Um, Hopefully we have a really good season. I'm hoping that we could make playoffs. Always the goal of my season. Make playoffs first, then we'll see where we go from there. Um, I'm hoping for a great season, and good luck to all the coaches out there that are in the EPT. Wish the best of luck to you. As I know some of my friends like Will and Crypto is up there in the Premier, so good luck to him. I know he's got his hands full in that league, in that like top division. So good luck to all you guys, and I'll see you for week 1. Until then, bash out.